Welcome to Going Forward, where inspiring conversations with leaders and entrepreneurs shape tomorrow. Dive into the depths of their journeys, the hurdles they've overcome, and the insights they bring to the future. Let's get moving right here, right now on Going Forward.
This episode of Going Forward is brought to you by Optimizer, the award-winning PPC management tool trusted by advertisers worldwide. Need to save time and supercharge your ad performance? Optimizer makes managing PPC campaigns on Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft easier than ever. With automation, smart insights, and powerful optimizations, you'll work smarter, not harder. Try it free for 14 days at optimizer.com/go/VIP and take your ads to the next level.
What's going on, Going Forward Nation? It is Eric Elliott, your host, and today I have someone that I beat down her Instagram saying, you got to come on this show. You got to come on this show. It is managing attorney, founder of the Amber Hall Law Firm. It is Miss Amber Hall on, and actually a fellow Golden Gavel winner. So you got one of these too.
I do. Yes.
Awesome. Amber, thank you for being on the show today. I want to tell folks just a little bit about you, and then I want you to kind of just fill in where I may have missed. You know, Amber, I didn't know this until we actually started talking, that you were a former D1 athlete. And so, you know, I want to definitely talk about that. And I know she's got better skills than me on the court, and also going from the court to the courtroom, that might be your next billboard, right? You hear it here first. So Amber is a managing attorney and founder of the Amber Hall Law Firm. She's based in Tallahassee, Florida. She serves all of Florida. And let me tell you, she's got some grit. And she's helped families throughout the state of Florida, known for relentless advocacy and courtroom-ready approach. Amber's recovered millions of dollars for her clients, and she still does to this day, and fighting for the injured. Y'all, Going Forward Nation, let's welcome Miss Amber Hall. If I had like some applause buttons, I'd make them clap for you, Amber.
Thank you so much. Good morning. I'm truly honored to be here, and I'm excited. I've, been counting down the days, so really honored to be here with you this morning.
Well, me first. I'm gonna go first. I was more excited to have you. Let's talk about how we met. We met at the Golden Gavels here this year in January in Miami Beach. You had won a billboard for the Outstanding Outdoor Creative, which was really cool. It was like you holding a basketball, kind of sticking to your roots, Amber, I mean, did you ever think like, one day I'll be on the stage, like holding a Golden Gavel for this kind of work?
No, I did not dream that I would ever be on stage holding a Golden Gavel Award for Best Billboard Campaign as an attorney. And honestly, going back and as a youngster, I did not believe that I was going to be an attorney. I knew that I would be an entrepreneur. I knew that, but I certainly did not believe that I would have founded a personal injury law firm and that I would get into, all the marketing and all the good stuff when it comes to, building a law firm and trying to scale. So living out my dream now.
Yeah, I have to ask, like, before we started recording, you and I were talking about, your roots and your family, that ecosystem you have, and, your dad, and how you have all this love around you. Amber, you've even been a D1 athlete. You could have done anything. I mean, what pushed you or positioned you? I don't want to say push, but positioned you to say, I want to own a law firm.
It just happened. Quite frankly, I believe God called me to do it. My dad and my mom encouraged me to go to law school. And my dad was really, really pushing it. I think my mom was like, well, I don't want to turn her off to law school, so I don't want to push too hard.
Yeah.
But for a while, when I was in undergrad playing basketball, I was always thinking about, what the future would look like for me after collegiate basketball. I'm a business management major. So in my concentration in business was entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology. So I knew that one day I would be an entrepreneur, but I had no idea it would be, in the form of starting a law firm. But yeah, my dad encouraged me to go to law school, and what we settled on was, well, you don't have to be a lawyer. He said, I just want you to go and learn the skills. Learn the
Wow.
skills, then you can go and you can write your own ticket. You can do whatever it is that you want to do, but I want you to learn the skill sets.
Wow.
So that's what I did. I went to law school thinking the entire time that I would not practice law, and I would not pursue the traditional career in the law. I was thinking I'm going to have a non-traditional career. I potentially be an athletic director at a college because I interned while I was at University of Florida, and I worked in their athletic department. I thought, well, maybe I could be an agent, maybe, all these other ideas that I had, and then ultimately I ended up my first job after graduating law school was at a personal injury law firm in Atlanta, and I was handling their Florida personal injury cases.
So
Mhm.
now, you got such a great transition, and you might hear all these basketball things come out, and I really there's no pun in that at all. But like, you when you said, okay, you're going to start practicing law, and then you go towards like the personal injury side of, because you could have been criminal defense, you could have done any kind of litigation, but what led you to the personal injury part of law?
And this is where I feel the calling came along because I was not sure. I took a lot of family law courses in law school, and I was thinking, well, should I practice law? I'm certainly going to be a family law attorney. And it just so happened that the first job opportunity that I had, well, actually, it was the second. That's a story in itself. But the opportunity was to work at a personal injury law firm, and in particular, I was handling a lot of wrongful death cases, and I was
Mm,
litigating, thrown in the
yeah.
fire there, and so I quickly found my calling because I realized, oh, this is how this process works. We're really up against the insurance companies. This family has suffered a tremendous loss, and
Mhm.
we're fighting in order to get them compensation. And once I started seeing essentially how the game works, I said, okay, I'm right where I need to be.
Yeah. So what's that feeling like though? Because I mean, you were in a situation where you had to compete, and then now you go into another situation where you have to compete. So is that something like you feel like all the skill sets that you've been through in your career and in being a student athlete at that time, and even when you went into law school, like you feel like it readied you or kind of helped you get the butterflies out when it's time, when it's go time?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very similar when it comes to what I do today and what I did on the basketball court. Because, for one, preparation, preparation, preparation. That is the name of the game when you are playing a sport. And so, between all of the practices, early morning, workouts, two a days, three a days,
Oh,
running on the track, lifting weights, going over the plays, and as a student athlete, you're going to all of your workouts, but then you also have class and you have tests and exams, and it's a lot to juggle, especially when you want to do really, really well. So all of the perseverance, all of the grit, the dedication, being able to work as a team from people
yeah.
who come, from all over, and sharing a common goal, and that's to win. So same thing as an attorney, I'm working with many people, my opponents, my clients, the judges, insurance adjusters, support staff. And so being able to communicate well and to work
Mm,
with them to resolve issues, it's really, really important. Being able to persevere if you're preparing for trial or big time mediations, and you really have to put the work in. And I'm that's not shocking to me. That's not new to me to put the work in, day out. So if it means that I have to pull an all-nighter, if it means that I'm up till 3 a.m. working, that's nothing to me because I'm used to it. I've been prepared.
what's something that you've learned, Amber, since having your firm? Like, if you can kind of say, because I know I've done it. I mean, 16 years in business. There's sometimes I go back and said, I wish I knew this or I wish I knew that. Now that you can look, at your career, I mean, is there something where you can say, man, I wish I knew this or I wish I knew that?
That's a great question. One thing I will say, your mind rules your body. So I always tell law students, if I could go back to law school, I would have believed in myself even more.
Wow.
Sounds, a little cliche, so to speak, believe in
Yeah.
yourself, but it's real because it's no secret in life. We grow up and we have big dreams, but then we also run into self-doubt. Sometimes we're around the wrong people, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people will kind of doubt your capabilities, and that's a real thing. Is other people are kind of displacing their thoughts and their feelings on you, as opposed to you just believing inside of yourself and deeply in your soul that you can make it, you can do it. I can change the game. I can make a difference. And so when I started law school, and this was all because I was like, I don't think being a lawyer is for me.
Yeah.
I kind of talked myself out of it the whole time. And now that I look back, I'm like, oh, I was meant to be in law school. I'm totally meant to be an
Wow.
attorney, and be an advocate. But what I know now is that you really just have to go for it and believe in your heart and in your mind that you will succeed no matter what. And that unlocks the cheat code because when you have that deep and that strong belief in self, it takes you places, it opens doors. And people talk
Wow.
about the universe and things happening behind the scenes. Well, it's because you have that deep belief in yourself that it is going to work out. It's either going to work out or it's going to work out. So
You,
that's
you
that's what I know now is just really, really tapping into that, because that's like a superpower.
No, I like that. Let's just say, you and I, okay, for our professions and being an entrepreneur, let's take the money out of it, right? Our earning potentials, all that stuff. What motivates you daily?
Being a blessing to as many people as possible. That is my prayer every day, is to be a blessing to someone today. Someone needs to hear my story. Someone needs my assistance as an
Hmm.
advocate. Someone needs some encouragement today. Someone needs some inspiration, some motivation. Um, Someone needs a problem solver today.
Yeah.
No matter what capacity, help me to be able to bless others in any capacity. So as an employer, what motivates me and why I do the things that I do is to hopefully build the team up, help
Hmm.
everyone to reach their highest potential, help them to tap into their superpowers.
No,
As an
I like
attorney,
that. I,
yes, yes.
I like that a lot. I like what you said there too. And it's just you don't hear unless you go to conferences, you don't hear a lot of attorneys talk about leadership and team culture. And you just mentioned that, and like it just seems like in both careers that you've been in, you've always been surrounded by team. How important in the law firm in Amber Hall Law is leadership and teamwork, and also team culture, how important is that, and how does that benefit your clients that hire your firm?
It is paramount for sure. Um, I do not do this alone. I have a great team, and we are
Mhm.
continuing to build. We just hired someone else today. And it's important because as we continue to grow and take on big cases, we litigate heavily. The team helps the machine run the best way that it could possibly run. And so
Mhm.
everyone plays a very important role in the machine running
Yeah,
the
yeah.
best way that it can. So the goal is empowerment. If you are a case manager, if you are a paralegal, an associate attorney, I want to give you the tools that you need in order to be extremely successful in your role, but also in life. So it's
Wow.
not just the technical skills that we're talking about every day and being able to craft the best response in opposition to this motion, but
Mhm.
also how can you be a really good communicator? How
Yeah.
can you diffuse the tension in the room when you walk in a mediation and ultimately get to the goal, of
Wow.
resolution? So that's really, really important to, to win, right? That's the
Mhm.
goal, is to
Yeah.
win, to resolve these cases, um, to settle. You have clients who say, I just want to get my case resolved and I want XYZ. And that's the goal. We want to bring it across the finish line, successful resolution, and everybody plays a very important role in that process.
What do you think is probably one of the three important things to running a law firm? And for every lawyer, it's going to be something different. But for you, Amber, what are the three important things that you feel that a firm should have, and those should be the things that clients should look for when hiring a law firm?
Core values. What does the firm stand for sure. Also, um, a vision, because everybody has to be on board with that vision. That's important as you continue to build and you're trying to bring on top talent. They want
Yeah,
to know, where are we
we're
going?
going. Yeah,
Right? Where are we going? And then I would say execution is really important. I've been really harping on that word this year: execution and momentum, and being able to run the play when it comes to law. So sure, on the basketball court, coach is always saying, run the play, run this play.
mm,
Well, same thing in law. It is okay, file this motion, file this lawsuit. We're going to run this so that we can get here, and being able to execute and to deliver. And that is what makes, a law firm special,
yeah.
is, you've got the vision, you've got the play, and you know how to execute.
Love that. You mentioned the word empowerment before, and as soon as you started talking about that, Sarah Williams, who I don't know if you know Sarah, but
I do.
she speaks a lot, and she's at Singleton Schreiber now. Hopefully, I said that right. But what
Yes.
an empowering force. Do you feel like as a female attorney, right? And I'm gonna ask that because it's still mostly male dominated now. Do you feel like you have like that duty to empower, those even young ladies coming up behind you, or even young attorneys coming up behind you?
I do. I do. I feel the duty to empower, and to reinforce what I feel and believe that, um, women already know. They know that
Yeah.
we are game changers, but it's good to hear it. We make a difference, no question about it. In fact, um, we're celebrating Women's Day. International Women's
Yeah.
Day was officially Sunday, and I dropped a video, and really it was, the message was, may we continue to change the game, because we do. It's no secret. Everybody knows it, no matter the commentary and the
Yeah.
narrative, so I think it's my duty and obligation to continue to get out there, put my foot on the gas, to push it to the limit, and let everybody else know, all the women out there, it's time. It's always been our time. But
Wow.
now, get out there and capitalize on the opportunities, because women, we need you in every arena.
Wow, dude. Do you feel huh, like there's more, like there are a lot of women who feel like they can't voice, or they can't market, or shouldn't market because they can't keep up with the big guys, or it's all big guys in their market? Do you still see that happening? Or what are some women thinking, some women law firms, what are they thinking, like, I can't be too loud because there's five male dominated attorneys in the market? I mean, what is that like?
I think that's a real thing. Women and men. A lot of people out there believe that they cannot compete with, the big firms out there. You hear it, well, they have an unlimited marketing budget, so how do I compete? And there's room. There is room for you. I'm here to tell you, especially with social media, especially to me, marketing and the market rewards authenticity today. And what I mean by that is, sure, the big firms may have the big marketing budget, but the superpower that everyone has is that you are you and no one else can be you, even if
Wow.
they tried. So doesn't matter the marketing budget over there. What is it that makes you special, you different? Well, one, you're you.
Yeah.
Two,
Yeah.
being able to connect with the audience. The people will find you based on your messaging. So whether it's a billboard, whether it's posting on social media. I had a client tell me the other day, yeah, I heard about you through word of mouth, Attorney Hall, but
Wow.
I went on your Instagram and I saw you post a motivational post, and I said, that's going to be my lawyer. It wasn't an
Beautiful.
ad or a post about law. It was a motivational post. So if any, people know me, I feel they look at a former athlete who's now an attorney. They also look at someone who's trying to motivate others and
Mhm.
inspire and encourage people to go and reach their highest potential. We all need to hear that motivation or something that keeps us
Yeah.
going and to stay encouraged. And so that's a part of my brand. That's something that a big law firm can never like take away, so to speak. If anything, people need to look at it like, hey, the market, there's room for me to open this door, and then it's just up to me to turn it up a notch if I want, or I can scale it back. But ultimately, no one is you. And when you
Am-
capitalize on that, quite frankly, the unlimited marketing budget, they really can't compete with you because you're different. You're bringing some
You're an
spice.
unlimited you.
That's right. That's
You're,
right.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You're an
So I
unlimited
think
you.
get more excited about themselves, get excited about your brand, really believe in your brand and understand that there will be, there's a group of individuals who will gravitate to the larger firm, but there are people also who will gravitate to your firm, to
Mm.
X firm, Y firm, Z firm. So, the people who need you and who want you, they will come to you. But they won't come to you if you don't get your messaging out there, if you don't try, if you don't just start.
What are some of the ways that you separate yourself from the noise? You know what I mean? And I say, and I call it the noise because I mean, some people will just they say the same thing in their ad, and there is no authenticity. So, how do you make Amber Hall and Amber Hall Law Firm stand out?
By being myself, because I recognize that, the way that we market it, I'm like the face of the firm. But I know a big part of that is I'm just simply being who I am.
Hmm.
And that's important. Um, Also, I believe that there are people who need to hear our message. And that keeps me going. Is
Yeah.
There was a time when I was on social media and I was, very active, and then at one point we got extremely busy, and I wasn't posting as much. And then I went to a conference and I saw someone. She said, I'm glad to see you because I normally look forward to your posts and I didn't see the post. So I'm glad you're doing okay. And I explained to her, oh yeah, it's just been it's been a lot, litigation in court. I've just been really, really busy. But that was also like reinforcement, to just stay consistent, keep posting. Someone is interested in your message.
Hmm.
And so that's what keeps me consistent is, you just gotta stay out there, stay in people's faces. And I think that's what the bigger law firms do is they're like, well, we'll just put a ton of money behind the billboards and the radio, and
Yeah.
people will hear us every day and talk to us. And I think, yeah, that's great. But the main thing is being consistent and then just being yourself, dropping the content that is truly authentic because
Yeah.
people will feel it. It's like when you're going to trial, the jury knows when you're faking. The jury knows when, something's not right. I don't know if I
Yeah.
believe this person, this witness, this attorney. Same thing with marketing. If it's not real, if it's not authentic, I don't believe the people will feel it. So that's the key. It's just doing something, when it comes to marketing, putting out the content that is truly authentic, to your brand, to yourself, and no one can ever take that away.
Have you, when you were coming up and you started doing your own firm, I mean, what are some of the challenges you went through as a new law firm? And then what are the challenges that you went through as a female founder?
Oh, yes. Many. So, one, especially growing up in Tallahassee, a lot of people, even today, they still see me as the little girl from church, the little girl played basketball, little girl. And so clearly I'm an adult
Yeah.
and, I'm an attorney and I'm practicing law, but many who know you as like a child and they see you grow up, they never fully see you transition into an attorney. So it's a challenge because
Hmm.
they're looking at other law firms and other lawyers to potentially assist them because they still see you as a child, essentially. Um, so that was very interesting. The other challenge, of course, starting out is well, budget. Um, I started my firm in my living room in Atlanta with a laptop and a cell phone and no real money, nothing. And so my
We have
parents
similar
were
stories. We have similar stories, you and I.
Yes, yes, and my parents were very much encouraging and saying, "Hey, you need to start this." But of course, I can remember going to the banks and saying, "Hey, I'm starting a law firm," and they kind of looked at me like, really?" And what kind of firm? And a lot of skepticism there. So naturally, that kind of dims your light in a sense. It kind of um, dampens your spirit. And so, but I kept going. I said, okay, that's fine. I know what I'm going to have to do. I've got to get some clients. I need to make some money. And once the firm makes some money, I'm just going to invest that money back into the firm. So certainly you got the challenge to getting capital. You also have the challenge to getting the people to just believe
Yeah.
in your brand, believing that you can deliver and wanting to try something new. Certainly, when you're not on billboards and you're not doing a whole lot of advertising, you're just simply hoping that someone will give you an opportunity to be an advocate for them. So that was a little challenging because people are skeptical. Hey, you just showed up here in Tallahassee and I see all these other ads. Why should I let you represent me? So that's a bit of a barrier for sure. And then, of
Yeah,
course,
I never thought of it that way, Amber. That's you make a great point. It's like, we all know that, but no one really talks about that. Like, you know, the undercapitalized lawyer coming up who's got all this grit, all this fight, and man, if you just let them loose, they can really do some damage for you.
yes,
And it's like sometimes the public just doesn't know because they
they
see the
don't.
billboards of other people, they hear the radio ads, they see the TV ads, and they might be ignoring, you know, the gift right in front of them. Wow.
Absolutely true. And that was always my mindset. Was if I could just get my message out and if they will give me an opportunity, I will show and prove. That's also a theme for us is show and prove. People will be skeptics or they will become skeptical, and that's fine. We show and we prove. Don't talk a good game, like don't talk about it, be about it. So that was my thought process when I moved back home to Tallahassee because I was in Atlanta working for the firm. And then I decided, okay, if I'm going to get serious about building this firm, I'm going to move from Atlanta, come back to my hometown, and I'm just going to get busy. I'm going to work. And so I can remember coming back home and so many people, family members included, friends, they were like, oh, I didn't realize that you were an attorney. And I kept hearing that. And so I told my parents, I said, okay, that's it. I'm going to get some billboards. I'm going to really just invest in trying to um,
Wow.
let the people know that we are here and we are open. We are here to be your advocates. And so that's really how it started. I started with two billboards and the rest is history. But that
Right.
was what motivated me. I said, and even if they don't call me, at least I can be a part of the conversation and they can't say they didn't see my ad. And that's how I looked at it is I'm going to I got to get into the game.
Yeah.
People need to know because you can be the best attorney, the best advocate, the best writer, researcher. But if people don't know about your business, they won't call you. Certainly in the land of social media, everyone's on their phones. We talked about it. A lot of law firms have huge budgets. You kind of are in the back, right? You're trying to
Yeah.
fight through all the noise. So,
So now, one thing I do want to ask you, you talked about branding, and then we talked about, like before, how people saw little Amber who grew up, in the church. And sometimes people
mhm,
remember you because they sometimes people remember who you were because they're still in that same spot where you left them, you know? So, how do you, now we know the firm, what's Amber's brand? What's Amber's brand? How does Amber, I know we have the authenticity, but what is your
mhm,
brand to that community now? Because you're not that little girl who was in church in Tallahassee anymore. What's
that's
your
right.
brand now?
Someone who gives back to the community. It's a big part of my brand. Someone who is a big believer in just family. Um,
Wow.
you know, family. I come from a family of small business owners in the Tallahassee area. So um, people know me. They know my mom and dad. They know my grandparents. They know my cousins. So it's a very small town, but they know that I am family oriented. Um, Big believer in faith and in God. That's a part of my brand as well. Um, I would say certainly everyone knows me as the former athlete. And I also believe that now a part of my brand is marketing. People are always asking me, well, I know you're going to do something for March Madness. I know you're going to do something for this. What are you going to do next? And I now believe that that is a part of the brand too. That we are a
Oh,
marketing firm, and we do it because we want to put out good content.
yeah. Oh man, I didn't think about that. Like, people saying, "Okay, you're an athlete, you got to be in March Madness and all that stuff like that." Um,
Yes.
where do you want your firm to be, Amber? Because like, yeah, somebody asked me, this question, and I just didn't have the answer because I said I was just having too much fun, and you can't steal my answer. So where do you
Okay.
want the firm? Where do you want the firm to be in 5 years?
Great question. In 5 years, I see us being even larger, um, continuing to grow and scale, and we're serving different markets,
Hmm.
being more present in other markets. So even though we serve the Tallahassee, we're based in Tallahassee and we serve the entire state of Florida, but being more visible in
Yeah.
South Florida, you know, Central Florida, also other states. We have associates who are barred in other states right now, and
Okay.
so um, that's certainly an opportunity that we want to explore. And um, I see the firm potentially getting into other areas. I still get calls about, now we've got the NIL deals in sports, and it's funny how I'm an athlete, former athlete, but once an athlete, always an athlete. And
Yeah.
I talked about being an agent in the past, and it's funny now with NIL deals that are very, very popular. And I get questions about contracts and deals and whether or not I'm available to assist. And, for the longest, I've always referred, those people out. But now I think about it because my heart is in that as well. My heart is deeply into what I do as an advocate. And so in anything that I do, I know that I'm going to be deeply invested because
Wow.
I want to see people win. So I thought about, hey, that's another angle is to be, maybe a consultant and to talk to, young people. I mean, you have high schoolers now who are making, a ton of money and they're being
Oh,
presented with deals and they need guidance and they
yeah.
need someone who truly has their back. So I see that as an opportunity as well. And then hopefully, my mom always says this. She says, "I think one day you're going to be a motivational speaker." I'm like,
Wow.
maybe so.
Hey,
So
you know what? That generation, they can see things in us that we can't see ourselves.
I
You know,
believe so. I
so when
believe
they talk,
so.
you
And
got to listen.
I'm listening. I'm listening. And I think that's a part of my prayer every day. Let me be a blessing to someone else. And we all certainly need the encouragement to keep going every day, because it's tough out there,
Oh
and
gosh, yeah.
every day is not easy. So if I could be that voice in the back of someone's head saying, "Keep going," you know, this too shall pass, then I would be honored to do it.
And we're going to take a quick break, and I want you to ponder on this question. And it is, how do you want people to feel when they hire the Amber Hall Law Firm? Okay, we're going to take a
Got it.
break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Hold tight, listeners. We're taking a brief pause. Going forward, we'll be back shortly with more insightful conversations.
Running your law firm is a serious business. When you actually got out of law school, they didn't teach you how to market your business, or they didn't teach you exactly the business of running a law firm. And that's what we do. We want to be able to come in and work with you and your firm so that, one, you can start marketing your firm correctly, coach you on how to get to the next level and where you want to get your law firm. And most importantly, we don't want you to be one of those law firms who are a laughing stock of the community. Don't hire a marketing agency that's going to make you look like a buffoon online or social media and try and make you to be something that you are not. It's time for you to start running your firm the right way. Go to VIPmarketing.com.
If your company feels like chaos and finding anything is like solving a mystery, get Trainual, the app that turns all your scattered company knowledge into an organized playbook, where every employee question has an answer, just a simple search away. Where all of your processes and policies are documented, roles and responsibilities are defined, and delegating anything is as easy as drag and drop. Trainual, it's how you get your operations under control and how you deliver the ultimate onboarding and training experience.
Welcome back to Going Forward. We hope you're recharged because we've got an exciting second half waiting for you. Get ready to dive deeper and be inspired. Let's keep the momentum going.
Hey, Amber, welcome back. I gave you a little question to ponder on. Hopefully that break energized you a little bit. I wanted to ask how, we talked about where you want the firm to be in 5 years, but when people come to the firm, how do you want them to feel? Because there's going to be a day when you have 10 to 15, even 20 lawyers within your firm. And sometimes you can't touch every case, but how do you want them to feel when they come to the Amber Hall Law Firm?
I want them to feel empowered. I want them to feel heard, safe, and I want them to feel confident that they've got Amber Hall Law. So they know someone, a team has their back. They know that we are true advocates and champions for justice. So, and ultimately a sense of relief that they know that I've got solid representation and they are going to bat for me.
Awesome. When you were coming out of law school, there wasn't a whole lot of talk about AI and all these things. And now every conference you go to, you can't go 2 booths without seeing something about AI and this, AI and that. What are your thoughts on AI in law? Do you think it's something that, law firms and attorneys should embrace or reject?
I believe we have to embrace it. I think AI is a tool and it can be very helpful when used properly. But by no means is AI a replacement of attorneys, because that conversation has been very common and popular these days is, soon AI is going to replace attorneys. I don't think that's true. Mm-hmm. Especially in the land of personal injury, wrongful death. We litigate a lot. We have to, because the insurance companies deny these claims. And while a person may be able to, come up with a demand letter on AI or whatever it is, they send it. Yeah. Well, what's going to happen? What happens when that insurance company sees it? And now too, they know, this is from ChatGPT. This is from some AI. Okay. And it gets denied. Then what? Are you going to take AI in the courtroom with you? At the moment, you can't, certainly in the state of Florida. So, it's a tool, and it can certainly streamline and things, and make a lot of the processes in the firms more efficient, but it's certainly not a replacement. And I like to joke that, I've been writing before AI. I take pride in my writing and my research, and my oral advocacy skills, and I've been doing that before AI. AI, if anything, can help supplement, what I'm already doing. But to answer your question, we have to embrace it because it's here. It's here. People use it, and I mean, even just a lot of our vendors use it. Court
Yeah.
reporting agencies. I mean, it's here, but it's certainly not a replacement.
Do you think, Amber, do you think the insurance company also pays attention to the attorneys that advertise and how they advertise, so they know who to take serious and who not to take serious?
Absolutely. I always say this to the team. I say, look, the insurance companies have scouting reports on every single law firm. They have a scouting report, and they know if you are going to file a lawsuit. They know if you're just bluffing. They know if you're going to take a case to trial. They know if your work product is decent or solid. They take notes. And so what do we want to be known for? When they pull up the scouting report on Amber Hall Law, what do we want it to say? So I certainly believe that they pay attention, and it can impact the results of a case.
Wow. Amber, I think you and I could sit here and we can do this all day. I want to congratulate you on all the success you and your team have achieved. I want to congratulate you on your newest Golden Gavel Award, and I think it's the first of many to come for you. You are so ambitious, man, and I'm telling you, so passionate about what you do, and I think you just transcended everything you did, leave your career over the law, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you, Amber. So I'm thankful that you gave us your time today, and I hope that you continue to be a blessing for the people in Florida. For those people who want to find you on social media, find the firm online, tell them, how do they find you? How do they find you?
Yes, so I'm online at amberhalllaw.com, and then you can find me on Instagram at attorney Amber Hall. IG, I'm probably a little bit more active, but I'm also on Facebook.
Is that the thing? It seems like more lawyers like to be on Instagram more than they like to be on Facebook. Why?
Yes, I'm not really sure why. I think, maybe it's a little easier in a sense, but I'm working on it. I can say I'm working on being more active on Facebook, but definitely more active on Instagram. And I hope to, eventually get more active digitally. So exploring those opportunities. But Eric, it's been a pleasure. I'm really thankful and truly honored for this opportunity. And I love what you all are doing, what you're doing. I was beyond motivated at the Golden Gavel Awards. And I mean, you all took home more than one. So that's awesome and inspiring. So I thank you for having me today.
Thank you. That was the first time that we ever submitted for any of that stuff. We love to quietly create, and just like you said earlier about having to make sure that people see and know about your firm, we felt the need to do that. And I've heard of some people being 6-time Golden Gavel winners, but they've done it in 6 years. We did it in a night. And so for us, I mean, that's great for our team. I'm happy and I'm proud for them. They sit here proudly, but we all share them. So I'm glad it happened that night, because if not, I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met you that night. So very proud of you. Very proud of you. And you got a fan in me, and I'm going to continue following. So also, I want to tell all of our Going Forward Nation out there, our listeners, make sure you connect with Amber Hall, reach out to her. Even if you want her on your podcast, or you want to follow her and see how interesting and authentic she is, do that. You won't be disappointed. I want to thank you for giving me your most valuable asset. That's your time. Thank you. This is Going Forward.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to rate our podcast and share it with a friend. Every share, every comment, every rating propels us forward. For more content, insights, and updates, visit ericelliott.com. Remember, your journey, your story is what keeps us going forward. Until next time.